Murmansk in northern Russia is the largest city in the world north of the Arctic Circle. It used to be a major fishing port, but now it mostly concentrates on the export of raw materials. Ships arriving here can transport oil, coal, and iron ore west to Europe, but also increasingly east through the Arctic to China and Japan. The vessel you see being loaded here is the Nordic Odyssey. It was going to take a load of 66,000 tons of iron ore to China through the ice north of Siberia. The trip was made possible by global warming. In recent years, the ice in the Arctic seas has been melting faster, regrowing more slowly, and so the season during which ships can make the trip through what was once called the Northeast Passage has expanded. Last year, the Odyssey made the trip in September. This year, it was going to try to make the trip in July. On July 9th, the Nordic Odyssey left Murmansk and headed north. That's the captain, Igor Shkrepko, going up to the bridge. The Odyssey had to wait a bit while it took on 1,000 tons of fuel. The ship doesn't fill up on fuel until it gets out of port so that the fuel doesn't weigh it down, since the harbor is going to be deeper than the port. The Odyssey was then guided out of the harbor by a local pilot. There he is with the mustache. None of the crew had ever been through the Arctic before. At first, the strange thing about the Arctic in the summer was not how cold it was, but how sunny. No matter how late it got in the evening, the sun never set. The Northeast Passage used to be practically suicide for a sailor. Now, little by little, it's opening up to international trade. At around 2 in the morning of July 10th, we headed out into the Barents Sea.
First of all, this is not my first choice of profession, but because of financial need, I went to college for this reason, to be a seaman. When I graduated, it was difficult time to find a job, and I wait for about 4 years before I come on board for the first time. I come on board for a Greek ship on my first day, my first year of seaman's life. I experienced 18 months on board cargo ships with the Greek officers. And then after finish my contract, my 18 months on board, I went home. I took vacation for 5 months.
On July 14th, 4 days after it set out, the Odyssey ran into its first field of ice. This was just off the Taimyr Peninsula, the northernmost part of mainland Russia. We were led through the ice by a nuclear icebreaker, Yamal, which smashed the ice by crushing it with its weight, so that by the time we reached it, it was much reduced. Everyone had read about the failed expeditions to this part of the world, and at first it seemed like the ice might have a chance to stop us or just slow us down. But it turned out pretty quickly that we were much bigger, much heavier, much stronger, and we would just keep going through the ice no matter what. It was amazing to look out on the ice. This landscape, which had been untouched for hundreds of thousands of years, going through this very complex process of growth and melting and regrowth every year, and totally unseen by anyone. Now we were here because this process was breaking down, and by being here, we would cause it to break down even further.
рейс, конечно, он выдался особенным, как и по режиму работы, так и по тем районам, в которых пришлось этому судну работать. Северный морской путь — это место еще очень редко посещаемое торговыми судами. Первый раз я здесь оказался, для меня это, конечно же, очень важно, очень интересно. Это дает огромную практику, огромный опыт. Эта практика, этот опыт могут пригодиться не только при повторном прохождении, дай бог такое еще раз случится, и еще раз, как у нас тут запланировано в этом рейсе, но вполне пригодится и в других режимах плавания, в других районах океана. Это опыт просто бесценный.
I've seen a movie about travel. The title of this movie is The Odyssey, and the name of the character is Odysseus. Odysseus of Attica. He is travel. Is go to sea, travel and travel. Then the one, how do you call it? Is the name is Poseidon. He told to him that he never come back. He is only on the sea, he never come back on the land. He's only travel and travel without trouble. It's something is like that. The first thing that comes onto my mind, that in terms of Odyssey, it is a lot of travel with a trouble. That's the thing that comes first to my mind. The word Odyssey is a lot of travel of trouble, something like that.
After we got through all the ice and went south through the Bering Strait, with Alaska to our starboard side, though we couldn't see it because of fog, the sun went down for the first time in 2 weeks. We were finally far enough south for that. We passed Japan, then South Korea. It was dark out when we reached China. The Bohai Gulf was really just a glorified oil field. As we dropped anchor, we saw the oil platforms flaring their gas into the sky. It was an amazing journey. We traveled 6,000 miles, a dozen time zones, 10 seas. We saw ice, snow, and lots of water. For the crew of the Odyssey, it was just another month spent on board and away from their families. They would unload the ore in the Chinese port and then turn around and go right back to Murmansk again, where they would get more ore and come back again to China. It's not their fault the Arctic is melting. They're doing the bidding of the global economy. They're doing our bidding. They're traveling through a part of the world that we've already done a great deal to destroy.